are a monster, Mr. Shielman.
Thank you.
It wasn't a compliment.
But of course it was!
Welcome to Classic Game Room, broadcasting from a reconstructed holographic image of the Intergalactic Space Arcade. This is a clone of Mark. It's a mystery, kind of like what you'll find in The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Except it's not on the holodeck. But it is on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. If it was on the holodeck, you could play this game on the Sega Saturn. If you think about it, the holodeck was the silliest part of Star Trek, because even though Picard supposedly used it for Sherlock Holmes' adventures or whatever, you know what really went on in that place. Counselor Troy, it's so nice to see you again. And Beverly, come in.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the...
None of that nonsense here, though. There's crimes to be solved.
This pearl is a different color.
After a necklace mysteriously vanishes only to be found in a fish tank. Blame the fish. They're always out to get you. But wait! Sherlock Holmes is actually being framed for this one. And after a man is found horribly murdered, what's with Holmes disregarding standard procedure and letting a madman out of prison? Even the loyal Dr. Watson starts to have his doubts, so it's up to you, faithful viewer, to prove Holmes' innocence and solve the mystery.
The thieves didn't get what they wanted. When they were faced with the bishop's refusal to cooperate, one of the gang shook his finger at him to indicate that he was responsible for his unfortunate state.
And the poor man, whose head was the only part of him not bound by ropes, bit the finger violently enough to sever it. An uncommonly savage act.
Tooth marks. Rather deep ones.
All right, it's time for lunch. So, who stole the necklace, killed the fish, murdered the priest, and framed Holmes for returning a fake necklace and selling the real one on eBay? That's what you and your brain are going to have to find out.
Here we are.
The Testament of Sherlock Holmes is one of many Sherlock Holmes mystery adventure puzzle-solving games published by Atlas for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, which is kind of odd for them because there's not a single blue-haired anime girl with bikini-styled robot body armor carrying a sword that's 5 times her size.
Miss, may we borrow the keys to the locker room?
You will need authorization from the director to open that door. If you wait a moment, then I will inform him.
We will wait, thank you.
While it may not appeal to Atlas's core audience, it will probably appeal to those of you who enjoy the Sherlock Holmes mysteries and puzzle-solving games. Provided you have some patience, because the controls are kind of clunky, it's easy to get stuck, and the production value is not as high as something you might find in another kind of game like Modern Warfare 3.
That is interesting.
That is interesting, as is this game, assuming you give it some slack for not having a monstrous budget. It's clearly designed for a niche audience. And the designers should be complimented for their atmospheric environments as well as nicely thought out puzzles. And a plot that'll keep you hooked. Give it some time though, it takes a while to get into it.
It's really very clever. Little Jenny is astonishing.
Those familiar with the series should know what to expect. Those unfamiliar should expect to investigate everything thoroughly, collect evidence, make deductions, and solve crime in Holmes' traditional insensitive manner.
A letter from Brighton to Jenny. Barely literate.
My biggest complaint is that you can't walk around and just kick people for fun. That kind of seems like something he would have done. You're all too stupid to be on the same street with me. In the future, I'll have a video game with my name on it. And movies where I'm played by an American.
The same black paint covers these stones.
It's also got a nice sense of humor and free soup.
We're not here for the soup, we're merely part...
Who turns down free soup? Dr. Watson can be such a stick in the mud. Well, at least this guy's life story will cheer you up.
Out of the question. You have lost. You owe me your ring.
Oh, it means a lot to me, this ring. My dad gave it me before he died. He choked on his own glass eye. My mum didn't get over the shock of it, and she killed herself by smashing her head open with a wooden leg. and she'd only just heard that my sister, who's a prostitute, had caught an embarrassing disease that made all her hair fall out. And worse, our dog got run over.
It's the testament of Sherlock Holmes. Don't forget your brain. Give it a workout. Remember, it loves you.
I fear that this inquiry is a bitter defeat for us.
Not at all, my dear fellow, quite the contrary. Follow me.